We are not members of the LGBTQ plus community. We approach this podcast as learners, not experts. Our intent is to educate ourselves and engage thoughtfully, not to exploit or speak on behalf of others. The opinions shared are our own and may not reflect everyone's experiences. We welcome feedback and invite corrections so we can continue to grow and be better allies. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to First Time in Drag. This is Season 1, Episode 4. I'm Kevin, and this is Dax. Appreciate you hanging out with us. This time, this is an exciting episode. I'm really excited to get into it. We had a lot happen. The whole competition is getting really tight, right? Very tight as we starting to eliminate, or we've already kind of taken out Tammy Brown, Victoria Parker, and Akasha over the last 3 episodes. So the rest of the competition is pretty close, in my opinion, in like skill level, especially over performance for the 4 episodes that we've seen. Maybe a couple of people lagging behind, and we'll kind of talk about that through this episode. But I am very excited. Dax, how are you feeling about this? How do you feel about episode 4?
Going into it, of course, as usual, not being a drag race specialist, I was, I don't know if excited is ever the word, but like cautiously optimistic, based on the queens that are left. And then after watching this episode, like I just couldn't wait to record today because it's just such a great episode, man. It was, we're 4 episodes in, I'm getting used to things overall.
Yep.
And now that we have really kind of trimmed the fat, this episode really shows we're down to kind of like the all-stars of season 1 here.
Yeah, definitely. This does feel a lot more reminiscent of kind of the drag race I'm used to, this episode as a whole. I do think this is a bit of a banger. I wasn't expecting that. Again, I have also not seen season 1, so this episode felt like it was a bit of a step up from, what we've seen, especially episode 1, episode 2, where things were still a bit kind of jumbled around.
Yeah, 1 and 2 felt like a little scrambled eggs. This 3 and 4 really felt like we're getting the full English. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely feels like we're hitting a bit more of a stride. And I think they probably take that feedback and expand on it in the following seasons, which makes sense. This is a good episode. Before we dive in, I'm really itching to go. Sorry. Did you have anything else you wanted to touch base on before we get into the challenges?
No, you're good. Real quick, I just want to say, and you'll realize why this is important in a second. The queen that I was sus of already before I started the episode, the person I thought was going home, Jade, is who I wrote down in my notes.
Interesting. Okay.
And then also, like, I don't know what's happening to me. There's some type of transformation going on. Nothing like super major here, okay? But I found what they did they're episode 1, right? They walk out in like their full drag. It's like their introduction and everything.
Yeah.
And we have this room in our notes for like walk-in looks and whatnot. And after episode 1, that like whole section has been pretty much moot. We've gone through 2 and 3 with no reason to really write anything in that section because they're just walking in as like a group of gay guys ready for the she-male deal.
Yeah. Yep.
But bro, I'm in here writing comments on their walk-in looks like it matters. like I'm some kind of fashion expert. Like I'm in here like BB had on this like button down where one sleeve was full and the other side was completely sleeveless. I wrote down, well, that's weird. You lost a sleeve, right? Like I'm writing things down like I'm the fashionista here. And once again, I'm in the same shirt that I wore in episode 2 that I found in a pile of clean clothes on my couch over there. So
yeah,
I don't know what's happening to me.
It's going to keep happening, but it's great. Fashion is quite interesting once you start to learn about it. So I'm excited for that kind of transition. Yeah, the walkout look is very much an episode 1 thing because it's like the big queen introduction. So We'll do that at the beginning of each season for the first episode to really kind of judge the queens on how they appear. It becomes such a thing that the queens expect it, right? It becomes kind of its own segment where it wasn't really in this season. It was just sort of the queens walking out into the showroom.
I see. Yeah.
They turned it into like a mini runway thing, and it becomes like its own thing later on.
Well, it's not right now, but I've turned it into one already. So
that's great. That's it's exactly what I was hoping for.
Awesome.
Okay, yeah, let's get into it. I think this was a really good one. Just a quick reminder of all the queens we have up on screen. We are down to just 6 in this episode. From left to right, we have Tammy Brown, who was eliminated in episode 2. Jade and Nina, who are both still here. Then we have Victoria Porkchop Parker, famous pork chop on episode 1, season 1, first queen to get eliminated. Bibi Zahara Benet. Then we have Akasha, who was just eliminated last episode. Chanel, Angina, and Rebecca all are still with us. So, getting into this actual... Oh, man, I have that same runway theme. Goodness. We'll get into that, but getting into this episode, the entire thing is themed the same way. This is the MAC Viva Glam episode. So everything that we do from the intro into the end, like all the way into the judging, is all focused around MAC Viva Glam. The queens walk out into the into the workroom today and notice that all of the mirrors are covered up. That's like the first thing they're introduced to. And we find out that's because the mini challenge. Ru comes out and first off has the queens critique each other, give each other some constructive criticism. And I thought that was an interesting kind of moment. I want to take a second to talk about what they said to each other. I think Angina goes first and gives some criticism to Chanel and talks about how when Chanel is receiving criticism, she's not really listening. She's more formulating what she's going to say in response instead. And Chanel mentions this kind of hits close to home. You can tell it does disturb Chanel a little bit.
Oh, she knows. First off, really weird that they like talk to each other when they're not in drag with their drag names. I thought that was kind of strange. I thought there was like this alter ego thing. But I guess like maybe it's for like show purposes, for identification. But like it would be really, really weird if I had an alter ego and then like I expected everyone to refer to me that way. Secondly, Chanel does not take it super well, but also doesn't like respond in a catty way. It's just it hits really close to home because Chanel knows that that's true overall. Yeah. Is always like formulating the next sentence, sometimes before the first sentence is complete when she's speaking, right? Much less when someone's trying to give her like constructive criticism, which she already does not take well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true. And I think Angina kind of hit the nail on the head and delivered it pretty well, to be honest.
Well, listen, we already like nailed Angina for being a corporate type. And in this episode, even in the walkout, or not the walkout room, the workroom, right, with the walk-in look, like she's wearing this like blazer and pants combo, very, very like business professional. And then she's asked to deliver some criticism and does it like perfectly in this perfect, like corporately acceptable way. And it's just, it's done so well that even if Chanel were angry, it would look out of place. You know what I mean? It was perfect.
Yep. Yeah. I think she did a great job there. And then we have, I think, Bibi give Rebecca some feedback, and Bibi mentions it feels like Rebecca's kind of putting on a face, a bit of a facade, and we don't get to see who the real Rebecca is. And then we cut to a talking head of Rebecca with just attitude about it. She was not a fan. She's like, I'm kind of quiet and I don't really get a chance to talk because these other queens don't shut the fuck up. Don't let me say anything. And then they feel like they can judge me like they know me. And it's like, that's not a great response. I mean, it was in the talking head and not directly in the workroom, but you could tell on Rebecca's face she was upset in the workroom.
Yes, not pretty. It was not pretty.
Yeah, not pretty at all.
But that's okay. I think overall, right, we've been waiting for some type of drama like this. And I don't want to like take away from the suspension of disbelief, but sometimes this drama feels like it's produced, so to speak, because it is what sells. Some of the moments, some of the moments you can tell are like in the moment. You can tell that, like you said, you could see in the workroom Rebecca was put off. But then when they do like the B-roll, she's like going off about it. Sometimes I just like don't really give that B-roll credence. But when you can tie the B-roll to exactly what's going on in the moment, Rebecca getting quiet a little bit more tight, it's like, oh, okay, that's what you were really feeling. You're really giving me what you were thinking then.
Yeah. I don't know when they film those talking head segments, like how close in relation to the actual event of the episode they film it. Like maybe they're taking breaks in the workroom to like step out and do that pretty immediately. It's kind of hard to tell. But yeah, it felt pretty genuine that Rebecca was just kind of upset, from the jump, right off the bat. Right.
I was excited about it. I'm excited that now we're down to competitors that are so close that, I mean, feelings are going to get high like that. The drama is going to be high as we get closer and closer to the final.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can kind of see throughout this episode that I think Rebecca's getting a bit, maybe it's the competition, maybe it's specific to what the episode is about. We'll kind of jump into that. But you can kind of tell Rebecca's just got an attitude in her feels today. And it definitely comes out.
I think we see a little bit of that with all of them, honestly. And like, it'll kind of come out as we go through the episode. But I think this entire episode, we start to see a little bit of attitude out of all of these queens.
Yeah, we get some like shared critique. I think Nina gives Jade some feedback. And says that Jade needs to trust her instincts and kind of lean into that a little bit more. Yep. And then, we get a little bit of like echoing that from Rue, I think, and asking Jade like why she maybe second guesses herself. We get kind of a canned answer for this. I don't think we see a ton of insight into Jade as like a person here. It's just sort of the general, I've been hurt in the past and I don't like, just general insecurity kind of stuff, in my opinion.
Yeah. In fact, I didn't even take a note about it, but from what I remember, absolutely, it was just like, just general, like canned, probably fed to her type thing.
Yeah. Didn't feel, it certainly didn't feel as genuine as Rebecca talking about her experience in that.
No,
Rebecca
not at all.
felt.
Rebecca took that personally.
Did, for sure. And then we get into, directly after that, Rue kind of explains to the queens the mirrors have been covered up because of the mini challenge where the queens are going to pair off and do each other's makeup, which is like quite a challenge. I think, especially if you don't know anything about makeup, I think it's easy to assume that like it's not all that difficult in general. And if you can do makeup on yourself, you can probably do makeup on somebody else. Right. But that is absolutely not the case. And we kind of see that in this episode for sure.
Not at all. I will say that before we jump into here, what Rue says is you guys are going to do each other, and then stops and says, I'm not talking about Kai Kai, which I was like, when you told me about this, this word to add to my glossary, this definition, I didn't expect it to hit me season 1.
I didn't either.
Definitely not season 1, episode 4, but like, damn, you got to warm me up a little bit before you just like stick that in my face. Cause it almost came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was definitely, surprising for me as well. It's not something that gets referenced a ton. So I honestly thought when I was telling you that this is probably not going to come up and you're probably going to forget about it by the time it does actually come up. And then bam, here we are, episode 4. There's like a little double entendre by the queens doing each other. And Rue's like, not talking about Kai Kai.
Yeah, just, oh gosh, I thought for sure he's talking like season 16, 17, wherever they are in the future. But no, here we are, 2008, 2009, already talking about just railing each other right in front of my face. Golly.
Yeah, I thought that was funny for sure. For sure. The queens, yeah, are doing each other's makeup in this challenge,
Mm-hmm.
which is very interesting. They get paired up. We see, and this is kind of another sort of immediate instance of Rebecca's attitude. Rebecca and BB get paired up, and BB makes a little bit of like a face about it. I think because they just did the little critique of each other's segment, and BB kind of set Rebecca off and was probably like rolling her eyes like, fuck, like I just pissed this girl off and now I have to work with her. Right. But
Maybe
Rebecca
a
was
little
like,
bit.
what was that look? What's that look about? It is like, damn, Rebecca, calm down.
I don't know. I get where Rebecca was coming from because there was definitely a look. You know what I mean?
Oh, there
Like
was a look.
they announced the pair, and BB was not only visibly but also audibly kind of a little shifty, upset about what was going on there. I interpreted it honestly like BB is probably worried about all of these queens doing her makeup because she is the last dark queen left, and doing dark makeup is so much different than doing like lighter makeup. There's so much more highlighting and stuff that has to go on just in my experience in theater. Now, that being said, they say they take an hour to do their makeup. I've spent no more than 10 minutes doing any makeup ever in my experience. So like maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but at the end of the day, if I were the darkest person there, I would be afraid that I was just going to be completely dark, completely flat, have zero highlights, because I feel like for lighter skin, it's more about evening out the complexion than it is about highlighting, specific pieces. So I got why BB could have been worried outside of just like being paired with specifically Rebecca, but Rebecca took it as a damn insult.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I even had that in my notes. It was like Rebecca and BB both have more of a challenge than the other queens because they have such drastically different complexions. So it's not only difficult for Rebecca to do BB's makeup, it's difficult for BB to do Rebecca's makeup. Like
Absolutely.
Both of them have a very different take on, like you said, kind of the key components to doing makeup. So I agree with that. I definitely, it was probably a combination of all the things going on with BB of like Rebecca, I think has demonstrated a inconsistency with makeup. Like there are some days Rebecca comes out and looks really good, like kind of on par with Jade. Very pretty. There are other days, even a little bit later today, where Rebecca comes out and you're like, what happened? What is going on with your face right now?
I'm glad you said that because I didn't write anything down about it, but we'll get to that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's probably also leaning into a little bit of BB's reaction. I still think Rebecca kind of overreacted a little bit. Again, I think that's because Rebecca's sort of already in her feels in this episode, and we see a little bit of that for sure. Next up, we have Chanel and Angina paired together, and Angina is very audibly and visibly happy about this. I get it. Chanel, stunning makeup every time Chanel does makeup. I would be happy to be paired with Chanel. I would expect good makeup, right?
Yeah, I mean, they both seemed like they were fine with that pairing. They're both, relatively experienced. They're both relatively professional. So I don't think there was any worry about anything going awry there.
No, I think Chanel's better with makeup than Angina. So that's probably why Angina's a little bit happier about the whole thing than Chanel probably was. But yeah, there doesn't seem to be any bad blood. They both seem pretty happy with this grouping. And then finally, of course, that leaves Jade and Nina together. And I kind of have high hopes for Nina here because Nina's makeup also kind of consistently very good.
Yes. Pretty pale usually, but good.
Pretty pale, but good. So I had high hopes for this group.
And then Jade, just like a master of, in my opinion, the master of the fish, man. Like if you want to look exactly like a woman going out there, Jade is probably the person to pick your makeup.
Jade's gonna do well. Yeah. So let's jump into how they perform, right? As I mentioned before, I wrote in my notes, I think BB and Rebecca have a unique challenge working with each other compared to the other queens. Overall, I think the look is not great for either one of them. I was hoping I could get visuals for this,
Yeah.
but when we look, BB does not look great.
Hey, listen, exactly what we said. The two
Mhm.
completely separate complexions. I think BB did Rebecca a little bit better than Rebecca did BB, but BB came out completely
Oh
flat.
yeah,
One
I agree.
color, one tone, just all dark, and like a little bit of like I think some eyeshadow going on. Either way, completely flat for BB. Rebecca looked a little bit better. There was a little bit more contouring going on, a little bit more color mixture, but
Hmm.
again, obviously done by someone who doesn't have to deal with fair skin. So
Hmm.
overall, like that pairing was just tough on them, and it really showed some weaknesses. But when are you ever doing makeup on someone that's not you, right?
It did. That's actually a great question, and I think that's a good segue. We'll get into how the other four queens did in just a second, but that's a really good point you bring up. I actually love this mini challenge because of how like specifically translatable I feel like it is to the world. This challenge, this mini challenge is, can you be a makeup artist? Can you do that job? It's not that that's what you're here for, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing's just a professional boot camp, and this is an opportunity. Would I be able to employ you as a makeup artist on a set and have you come in, sit somebody down in front of you, give you 30 minutes, make them look good so they can go be on camera? That's a very real world scenario for makeup artists in the industry. And I feel like that's exactly what this challenge kind of framed out. You have a very strict time limit. You show up, you're working with someone who doesn't look like you, make them look pretty, right?
Yeah, I mean that's completely fair. I suppose I didn't frame it that way because I don't feel like that's why these queens are here. But like you said, it's an overall professional boot camp, and doing
Mm-hmm.
makeup is part of this specific profession.
Yeah, and some competitive queens from Drag Race do go on to have makeup artist careers where they do professional makeup for pop stars and movie stars. And Rue eventually starts getting her own makeup done by one of the queens from a future season.
Wow.
Where, yeah,
Hey, listen, I
yeah.
don't know what
So,
these people are doing for a job now, but I have to imagine that that's like within the realm of dream category for them. So now I
yeah,
suppose I get it now.
yeah, it's definitely a professional boot camp, and this entire episode is straight up, can you do these jobs in the industry? This is what you're going to have to deal with
Hmm.
showing up at an actual job site. Can you do this? Can you function here? Right? And I
Oh
think
yeah.
this one is very much a, can you be a makeup artist? Because you walk in, they're going to sit a model or an actor or someone down in front of you. You may have never seen that person in your life. You got 30 minutes to do their makeup, so they're camera ready, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I thought it was great. We do kind of see through this that maybe BB and Rebecca are not going to go into this as a career path for them, not their strong suit,
Probably not.
right?
No.
Probably not.
They do really well for themselves. I don't want them doing my makeup.
Don't want them doing anybody else's for sure. For sure. Next, we have Chanel and Angina, where I think we
Hmm.
see Angina first, and Angina looks great. Honestly, the best makeup
Perfect.
Angina's had the entire season.
Honestly, seriously, perfect.
Yeah. Are we surprised? No. Chanel is fantastic at her own makeup. It doesn't super surprise me that she can take someone like Angina, who has a very different face shape, a very different kind of everything aside from a drastically different complexion. Still different, not drastically different. And I think Chanel nails it.
Listen, Chanel is like a Vegas performer. I 100% expect Chanel to have done this over and over and over again for multiple people
Mm,
backstage. This is just something that happens, especially in like the I don't want to say amateur, but like the B, C tier professional circuit. Like, you don't have a
hmm.
makeup person. You
No.
have you and your cast and crew around you, and that's it. So cast often doing makeup behind the scenes for each other, or checking or helping, whatever it may be. So 100% believe with Chanel's background that this is something that she's done a ton.
That tracks. And I think it's demonstrated in this mini challenge. To contrast that, we have Chanel's face, which was done by Angina. And Chanel looks into that mirror and openly laughs out loud. And I laughed with her. Chanel looks a little bit like a clown.
Listen, it wasn't great. It definitely plays into like Angina's what do you call it? Like more campy kind of
Campy. Mm-hmm.
feeling nature.
Mm-hmm.
Angina often comes out with kind of I think a judge even calls it out for someone else, like kind of this kitchen sink makeup look where you
Yeah,
use everything that's in
just a
your
lot.
box.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's fine for Angina's style. I'm gonna get that name right at some point today. But like for this particular challenge, and to have Chanel looking visibly like a clown with 4 sets of eyebrows,
Yeah.
was quite the choice. It wasn't going to get you the win. It got you the laugh, but it didn't get you the win, did it?
Yeah, it did not. Also, I think this kind of doubles down on the excitement Angina had for getting. Angina was probably like, "Fuck yeah, Chanel's about to make me look beat."
Yes, 100%. 100%. Angina was all about that. Chanel probably looked around the room and was like, none of these can hang with me.
None of these
So,
bitches. Yeah,
you
none of
know,
these. I don't trust any of these bitches to do my makeup. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, very true. Finally, we have Nina and Jade, who I think both very strong on their own. So I expected them both to do pretty well. Taking a look at Jade's face, pale, pale,
Very
almost
pale.
kind of sickly. Yeah,
Very Nina. We know
very
Nina does
Nina.
pale really, really well.
Yep.
So wasn't surprised to see it, but it just, I mean, obviously you haven't, not that Jade is specifically dark complected, but again, like complexion differences, stylistic differences, we're just
Hmm.
like not quite there yet.
Yeah, and you can tell Nina struggled to translate that onto somebody else, right? Very
Yes,
much in a way that Chanel did not with Angina. I think
exactly.
even the visual we have on screen is a pretty good example of the difference in look and complexion between Jade and Nina with them right next to each other.
Oh, they are right next to each other. You're right. My gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, look at that. Just porcelain white in comparison to like the, I don't know, like caramel, like
Tan, kind of,
J
yeah.
Lo, Paula Abdul kind of look. A
Yeah.
little bit more
Yeah.
brown, a little
Yeah.
bit more yellow.
Yeah, for sure. To contrast that, we have Nina's look that Jade did. And I personally love this. I think Nina looks quite good.
Hit it. Honestly, hit it really, really well. It was,
Yep.
I feel like Jade could see Nina's style and really, honestly, almost match Nina's style for what she does on the regular. It was pale.
Hmm.
It was high cheekbone. It was
Hmm.
very pronounced, like contouring or shading or whatever the hell they call it, where they make the cheeks stand out with things that aren't blush. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's
Overall, like
contouring. Yeah.
it looked very much like what Nina often looks like, maybe a little bit better.
Yeah, maybe a little better. Definitely a little more toned down. We also see this kind of classic. I have learned relatively recently that this era in time was kind of known for this light blue eyeshadow that, and it's
Mm.
the same kind of eyeshadow look that goes on Nina in this challenge. We also have like the thinner eyebrows. All of it kind of, to me, very much reads the era, those like late aughts, mid to late aughts makeup style. And I think Jade kind of nails it. Like I was honestly surprised. I walked into this challenge thinking Nina and Chanel would probably be on top because Nina tends to look flawless when she comes
Oh
out.
yeah.
And so I kind of expected that. I thought Jade would do really well. Jade also looks flawless. But I was surprised at how well Jade transferred what she did onto Nina and still made Nina look really good.
Very good. Very seriously good. Um, which actually I think is a perfect segue into the winner of this challenge.
Yeah, Jade does end up winning. I think it probably came down to Jade and Chanel. Um,
Yeah. What the
yeah,
hell? Are you kidding me? Like, don't get me wrong. Jade's makeup was good, great, even, but like Chanel did on Gina perfectly.
very well.
Perfectly. I could not
Yeah.
believe the choice here.
Yeah, interesting. I could kind of see it. To me, both of them looked extremely well done. Both of them looked like they could go out and be camera ready. So it was a bit more of a coin toss in my mind between them. So I wasn't super shocked that Jade kind of edged Chanel out. But I will 100%, 10 times out of 10, agree. Chanel beat Angina for the gods. Like, that is the best Angina has looked all season. Like, Angina should pay Chanel to do her makeup for the rest of her life because it is
Yeah,
so much
without a
better.
doubt. It was so good. It was so good.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah.
And I don't think we should be surprised that Chanel and Jade were the top two in this challenge.
No.
They are the best at doing makeup. Jade specifically the best at looking super fishy, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, here I didn't think it was that close. I think that
Hmm.
Chanel's job was just so flawless. Nina, you know, had some stylistic choices, or Jade had some stylistic choices for Nina, right?
Hmm.
That I just don't think really sat with me the way that it sat with Rue.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I don't think I liked Jade's look overall as much as I liked Angina's.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I think Jade did really well were like technical things. And I'm drawing on there is like a makeup artist competition show where one of the judges famously says, "That's a ding dong," which I think is a silly catchphrase. I think that's right. Someone might correct me. I'm pretty sure that's what she says. It's an interesting competition show, and from that, I've kind of learned a lot more about what it means to be a professional makeup artist. That's what the whole purpose of the show is, right? Um, and I think Jade did really well with a lot of technical things, like blending of the foundation and stuff like that. Like, you almost could not tell, especially at a distance. It almost looked like Nina didn't have very much makeup on, which is a difficult thing I think to accomplish for another person, like doing makeup on another person. And maybe that's why Jade edged Nina out, or Jade edged Chanel out of the win. But I think that's a loose argument because Chanel also did the exact same thing, also equally well with Angina, and I think had a better, more timeless look than Jade. Was very stuck in the era. That was makeup very much for the like 5 to 7 year period that makeup was
Mm-hmm.
done in. Where like Chanel's makeup just looks good, period. No matter when you see that person looks good, right?
I agree with you. I agree with everything you just said. I want to rewind for just 1 second. Did you
Okay.
say that there's a competition show just for makeup?
Yeah, just for makeup artists.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Okay, and you be watching that show too?
Yeah, hell yeah. I
Okay.
watched Project Runway. This new season of Project Runway has La Roche on it. Love La. Like, big fan. La Roche is a professional stylist, I think image architect or something like that. Um, Excellent taste in fashion. Happy, super happy La is on this season of Project Runway. If you haven't watched it, I think you should. That's also where Santino's from, by the way. I think Santino kind of built some of their designer fame. I think season 4 or something, Project Runway. Yeah, but heck yeah, I'm a big fan of competition shows in general, and I kind of watch any one that I get my hands on. To be honest with you.
Oh, okay. I'm not surprised. Cool. We're watching first time in drag right now together. Man, for a straight man, you be
Yep.
watching some sussy shit, bro. You watching
There's
some
no such
sus
thing.
ass shit. No, no, no. There's such thing. There's such thing. It's okay to be
We'll see.
confident. It's okay. I believe it. I believe it. It's okay. We're watching first time in drag together. But bro,
Yeah,
you
I
be
don't
watching
gender my
makeup shows
shows,
and
bro.
stuff.
I don't gender my shows, bro. I watch whatever the fuck I want to watch. You know what I'm saying?
I
That's
like
part
that.
of why
I'm
we're
with
doing
that.
this too, right? We're
That's
trying to
right.
break down those
That's right.
stigmas, man. Get out there and watch some shit.
Hey man,
It doesn't
listen.
mean I want to go be a makeup artist, but I like
Mhm.
knowing shit. I like knowing shit about stuff. Don't be proud of your ignorance now.
Hey, I'm not being ignorant. Listen, I still cry when I watch American Idol, bro, and I will tell that to everybody on the street. I'm just saying, out of my realm. Makeup and drag queens and Project One Way and shit, not quite in my realm.
It's
To
good
someone
stuff.
like me, sounds a little sussy. Someone like you, sounds like a lot of fun. That's why I'm here. That's what makes this
Hey,
interesting.
yep.
And that's what
That's
makes
why
the
we're
world go
doing
round,
this.
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Love.
And that's why we have conversations like this too, right? Hopefully maybe 3 or 4 other people will hear this as well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Our
yeah,
three
yeah.
loyal fans and my mom will be so happy to
Yeah,
hear that
yeah,
we're
we'll hear
such
this.
accepting people. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be like, "Wow, look at these guys really breaking down barriers."
Oh shit.
Uh, yeah, but yeah, Jade wins this challenge. Let's get back on track. Let's get back
Yeah,
on
yeah.
track. Jade
wins.
wins the mini
Chanel should have.
challenge.
Got it.
I don't disagree with that. Jade also gets 5 extra minutes in the maxi challenge, right? So
Right, right. Yeah.
that's a big part of this mini challenge, and that's a good segue, I think, to jump into the maxi. Again, professional boot camp, 100% a real scenario for
Big
the
time
maxi
here.
challenge.
For
This is
anyone.
a commercial shoot. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So the challenge itself is to film a 30-second ad spot or commercial for MAC Viva Glam Cosmetics promoting the MAC AIDS Fund. This is a public charity that was established in the 90s that provides support to people living with HIV/AIDS worldwide, donates funds to communities and organizations that offer services to help people with HIV/AIDS and help prevent the disease through educational programs. So, big deal, right? This is kind of an important movement. It's important for a lot of reasons, but it also hits really close to home, I think, for the community that's out here promoting it. So this, in my mind, another great professional skill building challenge for the type of career these queens want to get into. Like, can I pay you to go out and promote my products? Are you going to be able to create a good commercial? And you're not always, in fact, you are likely never going to be tasked with writing and designing the commercial while you are appearing in it. But again, this is a professional boot camp. I want to see what you can do. Can you do any of this? And what parts of it do you do well? Right.
Honestly, writing the commercial for them was a godsend because it's going to be, especially for what this challenge is about, right? HIV/AIDS like hits close to home, especially for the gay community. Super terrible disease that is rampant throughout their community. Takes away a lot of their friends and loved ones, right? So
Yeah. Also a
that
bad stigma, right? That they have to deal
yes,
with in society.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think it's harder to portray being genuine when you're taking someone else's script and having to like make it something that's coming from you. To give
That's
them
fair.
the ability to write their own script, tell their own story, and make it personal, honestly was a godsend to them because now they
Yeah.
get to do exactly what they want and make it about whatever they want and relate it to this cause.
Which is a benefit for some of the queens and maybe not so much a benefit for some of the other ones.
Hey, listen, some queens like to talk, bro.
Some queens like to talk. I think we know which queen we're talking about. Before we dive into each of their individual performances in this, just to be really clear for our viewers, the overall concept for this challenge, as I mentioned before, is to film that 30-second ad spot promoting MAC Viva Glam. Each queen they don't say specifically how long they have to get ready. It's kind of alluded to that they have maybe a couple of hours total to prepare all of this and get ready to be on camera. Then each queen is going to have 10 minutes of shoot time. Time to film like any of the script or dialogue that they have put together, and then time to film like model shots, glam shots, things like that, so that they can sort of edit everything together into a good shot. Each queen has 10 minutes, again, except for Jade, who has an extra 5, has 15 minutes total to get out there and film.
Which is
do quite a
huge.
bit with.
50% more time. Whoa.
Huge. Yeah.
Giant.
Big advantage. So let's jump into how each of the queens do individually, and we'll see how much, if at all, that extra 5 minutes help Jade. Starting off, we have Nina Flowers.
Whoa,
Oh,
skeet,
my bad.
Skeet. Before
All
we
right.
do that,
Yeah.
Listen, drama's happening now. Drama's happening. I want to talk about that drama, bro.
Let's do it. Let's get into it.
So before they get into the challenge, right, they're talking about, like you said, I do think they say it's like an hour and a half. I think it's like 90 minutes they have to get ready. So they're scrambling. Oh my God, I got to redo my makeup. I think someone's getting catty about oh, you don't want to wear my makeup. I just did your makeup and you don't want to wear that. And they start getting all catty about it. It's like, bro, no, I don't want to wear your look for my challenge, bro. It's never going to happen. That's not what this is about. This is a competition. Yep. Why do I want to wear that shit that you put on me? Absolutely. It's crazy how they're getting catty about some of that shit because there's no way. It's not that I want you to insult your look, but it's not my look.
Could you imagine what the judges would have said if you walked out into the Maxi Challenge with a look another queen did for you?
Bro, yeah, like you was just too lazy to do it. Like, what were you doing that whole time?
Or
are you kidding me?
Or are you just recognizing they're better at this than you? Like, what are you telling us as judges?
Crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just had to get into that. I know that was like one thing. Listen, it was a big deal to me because we're just now getting some drama after 3 episodes of like, just shit that I know nothing about. But I know about some drama and I can talk about that all day.
Yeah, and we do get a little bit more throughout this episode. I think focused around Rebecca quite a bit through the performance. Jumping into how the queens do, I have them in order on how they appear in the episode. So the first one that comes out is Nina.
Okay.
Nina is portrayed to be struggling a little bit, very similar in a lot of similar ways to the previous episode, like language barrier issues, just overall kind of struggling a little in filming, having to like retake things. But I think overall keeps her cool, maintains a good attitude, gets all the way through it, much like the previous episode. Like, she probably knows she's not doing the best, but she's definitely not doing the worst, and she kind of just powers through.
Listen, Nina Big Hair Flowers was back in this competition, right? She had these like 2 or 3 braided mohawk bun things.
Yeah, like a braid bun with hair coming out the top. I don't even know how that worked, but
I don't know either. But I watched him glue it and then that shit to his head. Listen, it looked cool. Looks a little bit more manly today than in past challenges. Maybe that's because of the queens that were posturing next to Nina. But in all honesty, Nina looked a little bit more manly this time. But overall, I think like this was a pretty good showing. Even through the language issues, fought through those language issues, put on a pretty good show commercial, gave them lots of things to work with in the cut. And then really, really sold it. Maybe a little too much. There's a little bit too much grinding for my liking. I had to cover my poor little straight boy eyes as asses and dicks were meeting. But at the end of the day, really, really good showing here for Nina, which honestly I took for a Slavic male. I guess is Hispanic, like South American maybe. Don't know where Nina's from. Totally thought you were Slavic, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely Hispanic background. Not sure exactly where Nina's from. May have been said, and we're just bad hosts and forgot. I could also probably Google it, but screw that. We're not here for all that nice tight shit.
Yeah. I have to be correct.
I agree.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Come on. You can Google it if you care that much. I agree. Nina looks a little more manly. This kind of harkens back to episode 1 in the first walkout look where I was like, drag king ? I think Nina as an aesthetic in general leans more masculine than feminine as a drag performer. And I really think we see that not only in this look, we also kind of see it in the runway, and we'll talk a little more about it there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but definitely agree with that. And I agree with the overall performance. I think we both kind of see it as like, this obviously isn't the best someone could do, but attitude's great, works through it, provides a lot, gets the job done. Can't really ask for much more than that, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's definitely better than some of the other queens here.
Yeah, speaking of, and since we want to get into some drama, up next, good old Rebecca Glasscock.
Goodness gracious. This is a
Rebecca
whole
Glasgow.
pack. This is a whole pack of chips to
It's a
unwrap. This is a
whole fucking thing. The attitude is just horrible the whole
tough.
time. Yeah.
Tough. And this is another one of those like inflexible performer moments, kind of. And it's less about being able to flex into something that's uncomfortable and more about being able to control your emotions and
Mm-hmm.
get the fucking job done at the end
Get
of
the
the
job
day.
done. Yep. You're going to have to do things you don't particularly like, and you're going to have to do them when you're not in a particularly good mood. And, you know, for all the flaws that Akasha had, she was pretty good at putting on that fucking face and like getting through it, and
Absolutely.
not letting you know that she was upset. Rebecca, clearly upset, walks out here just super fucking serious face. Does not look good. Honestly,
No.
the
No, the
look,
makeup was terrible.
makeup was bad. The look was bad. You're doing a makeup commercial and you're coming out here in bad makeup. And Rebecca, we've seen you in good makeup. We've seen you do your own
Mm-hmm.
makeup well.
Mm-hmm.
So like double whammy that you're, you know, looking horrible. And we also know you can look stunning if you try, I guess. I don't know what was going on.
You know, for people who haven't watched this episode, which like, by the way, what are you doing? Just go watch the show and then watch us talk about it. I think that makes
Absolutely.
sense. Why are you
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
doing that?
Mhm.
And so she comes out, you know, when like white people go to the beach and they put on sunglasses and they never take them sunglasses off. And then when you take the
Yep.
sunglasses off, everything's like red and or tan, depending on the type of fair skin that you are. But
Yep.
then
Yep.
below is just like this bleach white, like just makes the eyes stand out and the top of the cheeks and doesn't really look super great.
Yep.
That was Rebecca. That's exactly what Rebecca looked like. And it was ugly and it was terrible. And no one liked it. No one up there liked it. I don't even think Rebecca liked it.
No, I think it was apparent no one liked it, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
doubly apparent Rebecca didn't like it because just didn't. I don't even know the way it was sort of edited together for the episode. Looks like a mess. Like Rebecca's all over the place, like just walking around looking super sad, talking very slowly for having only 10 minutes
Yeah.
to shoot. Saying not very much, like borderline crying. The whole performance is bad. And we do find out in this through the talking head that Rebecca's in her head because her best friend has AIDS. And this is kind of hitting really close to home. Understandable. Like, that's horrible, right? I'm sure it's a really hard thing to go through. But again, this is a job. You have to get out here and do this. And part of this career path in general is that even though you're going through something really rough, you cannot let that show on camera. You certainly cannot bring that kind of energy to an ad shoot. I'm trying to get people to buy this product, not go cry in the corner. Like, this is not an ASPCA commercial. What are you doing? Like, you need to promote this product.
Listen, I'm actually okay with going with the emotional side. And man, listen, show business is dark, okay?
It
Show
can't be.
business
I
is
thought
so
Sarah
dark.
McLachlan was going to come out for a second.
Yeah, absolutely. But why does that happen in the
angels?
Exactly. But that they do that because it sells, right? The reason why it works. It works.
It does.
And in show business, you're taught to use those things to, whether it's a scene where you're crying, an emotional whatever, you use things from your past to bring forth those emotions in order to make them more real, more visceral. And Rebecca had that opportunity, but is not enough of a showman and not enough of a professional to utilize it in the correct manner. And unfortunately, because of that, what she gave us was shit. Absolute, just nothing to work with. And I get, like, she says something about wanting to, you know, just go up there, speak from the heart, not have it be this big to do, because the people with HIV/AIDS don't get this big to do. It's more about like, it's not about who I am, it's about who they are, right? And I get that. And she could have used that. If she would have given us a little glimpse into her emotions instead of letting them completely control her, it would have been a stunning performance, makeup aside, right? But she couldn't do it. Overtook her. Couldn't even speak a complete sentence. So here we are now.
Yeah, just poor performance. And then the kicker out of all of that, walks off set early, leaves time on the table. Like, rough. That's a bad decision. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look professional. Like, even if you're suffering, you stick it out for the 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes. And you couldn't make 10 minutes?
10 minutes
That's
to
rough.
shut it down. Yeah. And you know, it's really interesting because they like clip to her being comforted by the other queens. And I can't remember who the queens are who commented on it, but it's more than one queen calling her out for being fake about this whole thing, that this whole thing is a show, a ploy for sympathy, this or that. Listen, I'd never like to call anybody out about that sort of thing because you never know. You never know.
You don't,
and that type of feeling is something that is worth, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm not foster, but like, you know, paying attention to, giving its due credence, right?
Yeah.
Allowing people to express themselves in that way. But I do have to say, if one person were saying it, okay, I'll like, you know, let it go off. More than one queen saying it, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we don't get to see. We get 45 minutes per episode with these queens, and they've been there for what, probably a few weeks now. I don't know, Rebecca. It doesn't really look good for you that more than one person is calling you fake about this.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's actually, I think it's BB and Jade both who say there's like just a lot that feels really disingenuous about Rebecca. BB gives her that critique in the mini challenge, and she complains about it. BB's like, I feel like I'm not seeing you. I'm getting a mask, like a facade that you put on, and every interaction I have with you feels like a performance.
Yeah, that's a good call out.
Yeah, I don't think she does much to, you know, argue against that or like kind of push against that through this episode. It does feel performative
here. Absolutely.
Yeah.
From the way that she delivered the like the commercial piece on camera to the entire walk off felt relatively performative. And there's going to be a bit of drama when you're around queens specifically. I think there's going to be a little bit more performative drama, so to speak. But this one was obviously even too high drama for some of the queens around there.
Very much so. Does not do Rebecca any favors. And just walking off early, I think, is the biggest negative in my book.
Feels very nail in the coffin, that one. As it's unfolding, you're like, this isn't good.
That's not good. Yeah, and it's not edited to look good. They edit it in a way that it kind of looks like Rebecca walks out while Rue is trying to talk to her. I don't think from the like video clip after rewatching it, I don't think that's actually exactly what's happening when that happens. But I like either way, I think the editing was intended to demonstrate how Rebecca just sort of walks out, like doesn't really interact with people much, just leaves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, pretty rough. After Rebecca, we have Jade, who's got that extra 5 minutes, and Jade comes out and does well.
Comes out and does like this. Again, I think I referenced this in my notes. I did. Does this like Paula Abdul like fitness dance model sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
And it looks okay. I figured out what throws me off about Jade, and it's when Jade speaks, the squareness of his jawline comes through super hard and causes a bit of disturbance in the force, so to speak. All of a sudden, you go from this beautiful woman to, ooh, this woman's got like man jaw. like hyper man
Uncanny
jaw.
Valley thing, because the makeup is also done to try to hide that, and when Jade
Yes,
talks it kind of stretches the makeup a little bit around the jawline, and it does give a little
exactly.
bit of an Uncanny Valley effect. Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough. So like Jade, really, really good on the runway. You ask Jade to open her mouth, something weird happens, and it's not super great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That
Yep.
aside, I think the look is great. The hairline was a little rough this time. We were doing
Hmm.
like a lot of flipping the hair up and down and like lots of again dancey
Very
acrobatic
dynamic.
movements.
Hmm.
And the hair, it felt like everything was kind of slipping backwards, and the like little boy widow's peaky male pattern baldness hairline was peeking out for me.
Hmm.
But otherwise, like an okay performance, I think. You know, nothing
Yeah.
super bad, nothing that I would just like stand up and want to shout about.
No, I wrote it's a really basic commercial, and it's a bit too ad like. It feels like she's making just the stereotypical ad.
Yes, that could have been an ad for anything, whether it
Literally
was
anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
MAC Viva Glam. It could have been an ad for
For
I
fucking
don't know.
Starbucks. Like it could
Yeah,
have been an ad
Starbucks
for
pills for your
for
cellulite. I don't know
it could have been
anything.
yeah, it's just I'm busy in doing things. Are you also busy in doing things? Do you have this problem? I have this problem. Let's fix it with this product. Like
Yeah, I wanted a list of
that's all
side
it
effects
was.
afterwards for sure.
Yeah, yes, honestly. So yeah, I didn't write a bunch of notes. It's just basic. It's just an ad. It doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't offend me. And
No,
like you had that extra 5 minutes. I feel like you did a lot with it. Nah, probably could have
no,
knocked this out in the 10-minute shoot. You know,
honestly, yeah. What was the five? Maybe the dancing. No, you know what the
maybe
5 minutes was? You know what the extra 5 minutes was? The fact that Jade can't remember shit. This is why Jade doesn't speak, because Jade can't remember shit. The whole thing was just filled with oops and ups and whats. It
yeah,
was
yeah,
terrible. It took her 10,
retakes and
15 minutes just to get the retakes. Maybe had like 2 minutes left to do like the
mhm.
walking and the dancing and the bullshit.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. That extra 5 minutes just bought her struggling through getting her lines down. Yeah,
Thank
that's
God
all it
she
did.
had 5 extra minutes.
Yeah, yeah, true that. Yeah, overall lackluster performance from Jade, kind of in general. Up next, BB Zahara Benet. I have comes out
Dang.
looking like an African queen.
Dang. This
Yeah,
performance just so good. So
yeah,
good. I actually wrote it was BB that said something about Rebecca's deal. I was like, that's a pretty
hmm
cold response to Rebecca's thing. But then I think someone else said something about it. And I was like, oh, this is now sus. But yeah,
hmm
BB's performance, perfect from the reading to like the little dance piece, had nothing around it. Didn't need any props, didn't need any of those big sweaty dudes.
hmm
Just pure BB, pure performance, pure greatness. Honestly, BB is rising not only to the top but above the top of the queens here, in my opinion.
Yeah, these last episode, this episode, both very much clearly in BB's wheelhouse. Like
Yes.
BB is just a professional, dignified performer, and it is abundantly clear across these last two episodes for sure. I did have one thing I noted when she first came out. The outfit had a lot of like gold adornments,
Hmm.
and it was super shiny and reflective back into the camera. And I was like, I don't know if that was maybe the best choice for like a high light filming environment. But I'll also recognize that it was probably exacerbated by the season one blurry filters that this entire season is shot in, that probably
Yeah,
made it look a little bit worse than it was in the actual shoot. And I think considering that, like the look was stunning.
absolutely. I mean,
Hmm.
I I look at BB sometimes, I forget that I'm looking at a man, right? Like that was like classic African woman standing up there. It was so
Yeah.
classy, so classic. Yeah, there was a lot of gold, there's a lot of reflection going on. I think the white room as well probably didn't help that, like the
Yep.
white on white with bright lights.
Yep.
But I don't think I was even bothered by that, because it was just such an outstanding performance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you could tell BB was bringing real world experience, growing
Oh
up
yeah.
in Cameroon and kind of dealing with AIDS and HIV in Africa and how it impacts the communities there, which is like a whole extra layer on top of the queer community and everything else. And I think that came through. It was very genuine. It felt like a genuine performance.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like a commercial I would see on TV and expect to see it on TV.
But like a good one, not like
A good one,
Jade's
yeah.
like any commercial. This is
Jade
like
just
this was
right.
BB Zahara Benet's commercial that I just saw on TV, and I was privileged to watch it.
I would give props to whatever ad agency put that commercial out. I think
Yes.
it was a good commercial. It was well done. It was thought out well. It sold the point. It hit with the severity that it needed, but it kept, I think, a relatively professional view of it, and not as like just pull on the heartstrings as like the Rebecca approach, the like Sarah McLachlan
Yeah.
approach. It
Arms,
was
Arms
just,
of the Angels. Yeah.
yeah, it was just direct. It was dignified. I think it was great.
Agreed.
Yeah. Next, after BB, we have Angina. And I wrote, comes out looking like Angina. Like, just,
I wrote. Go ahead, please. Sorry.
I just want to comment on the Fascinator. Again, Angina
Mm-hmm.
loves a Fascinator. We see a million of them. Angina comes out with a Fascinator, which I believe, if I remember correctly, is a watering can with just like sparkle glitters coming out of it on the top.
Is it a watering can?
It's a watering can. Yeah.
I didn't
So it
notice
looks
that.
like it's like spraying shiny water up into the air.
Wow.
I don't know how that relates to MAC or like anything going on with the commercial or the topic. But yeah.
She needs to open a Fascinator
that's Angina.
business. She is
Yeah,
the
honestly.
Fascinator, girl.
That's
Overall,
the Where Are They Now episode. Angina owns a Fascinator store or something.
I imagine so.
Yeah.
We'll have to check that out. No, overall, Angina's commercial concept, I think, was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't write anything down about that. All I wrote down was, dude, put on some tits. Seriously. Like, listen. There are plenty of women out there that have a flatter chest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of women out there that probably have like close to zero memory tissue, like almost no tits. And that's okay, right? You're still beautiful. You're still a woman. And there's nothing about tits specifically that make you a woman. But what I will say is this is a competition about appearances. And these are men who are trying to pass themselves off as women. And for visual identification, bro, listen, tits help. Okay. And every time I see Angina walk up there with no tits on and a blouse that's open almost to her navel, like, bro, this would be a great look if you just leaned a little bit further into being a woman, just a little bit more. Like, damn, what do I got to pay to get you to put some tits on, bro?
Yeah, and that is still very much part of the competition. As we move on into later seasons, that does become less of the competition, but very much in this season, it is part of what we're doing and what we're going for here. And Angina, I think, regularly gets the critique of kind of looking like a little boy coming out in clothes. And I think in general for both of us, Angina's style and approach to drag just doesn't land. I can kind of appreciate that it's like campy and going for something, but it's just not my vibe. I don't love the choice of outfit usually ever that Angina picks. I don't love the no wig rule. You can be a bald queen. That's the thing. It's a vibe, but like the no wig crazy random fascinator shtick doesn't do it for me personally.
Listen, I could get behind a lot of things. Like, I think I've liked most of Angina's stuff, aside from like the little toilet paper thing that she likes to wear.
Yeah.
The problem is, like you said, looking like a boy. And to me, I think I've narrowed it down to the fact that you just won't wear tits.
Yeah, I do think that would help. Just even if it wasn't like a breastplate, if you just did a little more padding or something to accentuate a more feminine silhouette, like pad out the hips or something like that, like
Yeah.
build up the ass a little bit, wear some different clothing choices that aren't always this like honestly tube looking silhouette. Like it makes the whole body boxy and kind of one shape, and it
Yes.
doesn't it's not selling the illusion of feminine, right?
And
Where I
that's
feel
what
like a
we're
lot of
doing
the other
here,
queens do.
right?
It's a
Yeah.
big part of it. We're still in the drag race era of gentlemen start your engines and may the best woman win. So I definitely think that's a fair critique. Aside from the look, I like the commercial itself. I like the
Yes.
concept for it. Uh, Angina does use props, does use the models, but keeps it very professional, keeps it funny, keeps it lighthearted. The whole thing has a good positive energy about it. And for me, since this isn't straight donations like the ASPCA or any of the other like nonprofit just asking, hey, can you call and give us money? We are at the end of the day selling a product here. We are selling makeup, and we want people to be excited about that product. And I think Angina does a good job of kind of keeping that excitement and whimsy about the whole thing while still covering a relatively serious topic. To contrast BB, who I think is the other comparably good commercial here. The rest of the queens just drop the ball or are mundane, in my opinion, right? So in my
Yeah.
mind, I'm judging BB versus Angina. And I
Same.
think if we were asking for donations, I would pick BB's commercial. Since we're selling a product at a makeup location, likely in a mall, I lean on Gina. I want a slightly more upbeat thing. I don't necessarily want to make my customers feel bad while they're watching this. I want them to be excited about the product, to want the product, and then to, on top of that, just be happy that what they're purchasing is donating to a big cause, right?
You know what you do? You cut them both checks. You run them both on two separate audiences. We're marketers,
Yep.
bro. You know how that works. These are
Yeah.
two
Heck yeah. Heck
completely
yeah.
opposite sides of the spectrum. You run this for
And they
this
both
audience, you run
appeal.
that for that
Mm-hmm.
audience, and you're making double the sales.
Absolutely. Yeah. You just run them both in the real world for sure.
Yep.
You would run them both. But yeah, I think just personally, since I have to pick one, I lean a little bit on Gina, mostly because I think it's primarily a product commercial with the secondary benefit of it being donating to a good cause. And I feel like for BB, the primary was the donating to the good cause. The secondary was the product. And I want the product to be first.
I feel that.
Yeah. Anything else on Gina before we move on?
Nope. All I wrote on was a dude put on some tits, so I guess we can move we can move on from that.
Yeah, moving right on. Probably never expected that. Probably wasn't on your 2025 bingo card. You saying, "Dude, put on some tits."
Yeah, vehemently as I am, absolutely not.
Yeah, yeah. Up last. Finally, we have Chanel, and Chanel.
Oof.
I wrote down the first line. Chanel did not understand the challenge.
Bro, Chanel doesn't understand anything but herself. You know what I mean? And sometimes I'm not sure if Chanel understands herself either.
Yeah,
Actually, you know what?
yeah,
I know that Chanel understands herself because I wrote down, I'm just going to be me. I'm going to be Brian, which I
yeah.
thought was something fantastic. Something like a break that I've been waiting to see. I even commented earlier about how the queens are calling each other by their like alter ego names. And that's kind of weird to me because it just feels a little bit disingenuous overall. And Chanel saying like, listen, I'm going to be Brian up there at the end of the day. Like hit so hard home with me. Like I was so excited, but then like maybe
Then
Brian
we
should have
get
stayed. Maybe
what
Brian
Chanel
should have stayed in
actually
the
did.
pocket, bro, because what Chanel
Yeah,
did was exactly what she did in the last episode. She couldn't shut the fuck
just
up.
would
And
not
it was
shut up.
bad.
I wrote the same thing, and I'll agree with you. Chanel's gotten the critique. You are too perfect. You are coming out here
Mm-hmm.
as a Vegas showgirl all the time. we don't get to see who you are. We never get to see Brian. So I agree. When that was right off the top of the queens working on their product, that we get Chanel saying this. And I was also excited. I was like, yeah, let's see some you. Let's see some of like the real you. Really kind of throw that critique back at the judges and say, okay, fine. You want the less perfect version of me? Here it is. And that's what I thought we were going to get. It is not what we got. It was less perfect. I'll say that. But it was
definitely less perfect.
It was a rambling mess. Chanel very clearly thought she was shooting a 10-minute long commercial. I don't know what world she lives in where 10-minute long commercials exist. Like maybe an infomercial that's too short to be an. I don't know what Chanel thought, to be honest, but prepares this diatribe, this dissertation, right, on what Chanel feels about this product and everything, and comes out there fully prepared to deliver it.
Oh shit, the editors did her so dirty with like the really, really long story going on, fade off, still telling the damn story, fade off. Did. And this lipstick bottle, I always remember this lipstick bottle, fade off, still fucking talking about something else, still fade off. Talking. And my mother's dog, fade off. Holy shit, Chanel. You gotta calm down.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, Rue even cuts in at one point, is like, can you try to fit this into 30 seconds? Like, can we whittle this down into a 30 second? And Chanel's like, oh, I just completely misunderstood. I guess maybe I shouldn't be telling a story.
Yeah. But she said that almost indignantly. She was like, I guess I'm not even supposed to like tell a story up here, am I? You guys told me to come up here and tell my story, and I can't tell my story. So like, what am I even supposed to do? Chanel, first of all, you're supposed to be flexible because you're a performer and you know that. Second of all, what the hell? Did you not listen? There's like, you're shooting a 30-second commercial, a 30-second TV spot. We're going to go up there. You got 10 minutes to lay out some clips and to dance. What the fuck?
Exactly. And on top of that, on top of the fact that Chanel, again, just suffers from verbal diarrhea, just cannot shut up. Chanel is also possibly the most wordy speaker I have ever heard. Chanel says so little with so many words. One of the examples I kind of specifically remember is Chanel, like, I think trying to wrap up the commercial, and it's like, when you buy this makeup tube from the MAC store that you went to buy this makeup tube that you wanted to get, so that when you purchase this makeup tube that you bought from the MAC store, it's like, Chanel, what are you saying?
Oh, it's so bad, because that's exactly what she said. People who haven't watched the episode are going to think you're fucking joking or like exaggerating. Like it is not an exaggeration. And like all the extra articles and stuff, because like she'll be saying something and decide to switch articles or adverbs in the middle of what she's saying, to the point where, Chanel, there's not a usable clip in anything that you provided. There's not one single clip where you didn't stumble, add in extra verbs. Like it was bad. It was really bad. Wow.
Yeah, just had to describe everything like 4 or 5 times, but always in a very rambly, run-on-y kind of way. So it's like you said, it's almost impossible to even edit that into usable content, because just rambling, just repeating, rambling stuff.
Rambling, repeating, and with also you can be on and under with the lipstick will be on your lips and top and bottom too.
Yeah, it was crazy.
What?
Like, it's almost like the challenge was like, how many words can you fit into this 10-minute?
Yeah, we have 10 minutes. How many words can you think of?
Yeah, because we were in the thousands of words Chanel had written down for this. This was multiple pages, I imagine, if she had written it down as a script.
Bro, I'm crying. It was bad. It was terrible. I'm sure whatever story she had, because I think she was talking about like her best friend or like her mom or something. Like, my mom,
I honestly don't know.
Tube. Like, someone gave her a lipstick tube, and she'll always remember that tube of lipstick, and is what inspired her to do drag. And like, it was probably like this whole beautiful story that was, one, poorly told, and two,
Yeah.
far too much for a 30-second commercial spot.
So much. Chanel was told she was filming a 30-second commercial spot, walked out onto that set and straight up went, I was born in 1973. Like, it all started in a small hospital. Yeah. My mother in labor. Yeah.
Oh, God.
In fact, if Chanel was actually doing that, it would have been like, it all started back when I was born on the day that my mother gave birth to me in the hospital where I was born.
Yes. Damn it. That's Chanel. Oh, my God.
Just say it one time. You don't have to say it 7 times. We got it. Say it the one time. Move on to the next thing.
You know what? Coming out of this challenge, like that, for me, put Chanel right at the bottom of the list. Below Rebecca freaking Glasscock, who didn't even use all of her time, walked out crying, but at least she had some like little usable pieces of content. I didn't have shit from you, Chanel.
That's a great segue. Let's do our top 3, bottom 3 for how we feel they performed in this challenge. Okay, let's start with bottom 3 since we're already there.
I only did 2 and 2.
You only did 2 for each. Okay, yeah, I did 3. I went ahead and rated all 6 of them.
Okay.
But let's start with bottom. So you had Chanel as your worst and then Rebecca after that?
Yep, Chanel and Rebecca down there at the bottom. I mean, Chanel, we just spoke in length about Chanel. Rebecca, we spoke in length about Rebecca earlier. Both pretty terrible performances for 2 completely separate reasons. One couldn't say enough. One couldn't shut the fuck up. Overall, it was a bad showing for both of these performers.
Yeah, I have my number 1 bottom is Rebecca. I couldn't get over the walking out of the set early. There's just levels of disrespect and like there's so much money spent in situations like that like you just can't be doing shit like that. Nope. And then Chanel, like honestly, interchangeable. Chanel also wasting time and money by doing what you're doing. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Oh my God.
I had Jade as my third. I had Jade as my third worst, kind of down there with the bottom, but I think Chanel and Rebecca were the poorest performances. What about top 3? Who are your top 2?
Yeah, top 2. First off, BB, right? Absolutely great. No surprises there. You know what? For my second one, I had Jade. I'm not, thinking about the performances now. Maybe I'm just so thrown off by Angina's inability to put on some tits that I guess like Jade just in the heat of the moment, Jade took second spot for me. So yeah, Jade with her every commercial approach just ended up being in my top. Yeah.
Interesting. I had Angina in the top. I liked that commercial. I liked the products forward approach it took, kind of all the things I said. BB also number 2. They're both right next to each other. Again, like you said, in reality, we'd have both of those commercials and we'd run them both. If I have to pick one, I lean on Gina just because it was a little more products forward than BB's was. And then my third, I had Nina, where Nina was there, did a good job. No real complaints, but probably not the commercial I'm going to use.
Yeah, Nina just middle of the road for me. Overall, who else we have here? Chanel, Nina, Angina. Yeah, Angina didn't make my top. Didn't put on any tits. So yeah, they were just kind of like middle of the road for me. Weren't worth top or bottom.
Yeah, totally fair. That brings us to our runway, the thing I've had up on screen this whole time. So thanks everybody for watching. You've known runway theme is MAC Viva Glam. I do have some visuals here for this, so we can kind of jump through it.
Was that the runway theme? I didn't hear a runway theme. I thought it was just like, hey, do your thing.
Yeah, they don't really specifically say it in the episode, I don't think, but the theme for the entire episode is MAC Viva Glam. So it's just kind of copy and pasted all the way down for the whole thing. Okay. So yeah, the runway is still supposed to be done with MAC in mind, because this entire thing is kind of like an application to be a MAC ambassador, right? That's one of the things they win for winning this competition. So that's our runway theme. I again put these in order as they appear on the show, kind of changing up the just generic order I've been using. So we start out with Jade this time. So this is Jade's look. I wrote, looks like a sexy goth, and you know I love a sexy goth.
Yeah, I think she even said dominatrix, right? And
Yeah.
I think this is a great look. Again, Jade, as long as she's not
Mm-hmm.
talking, never disappoints.
Yep.
Absolutely gorgeous, like look. Uh, I've been talking about queens too much. I'm up here calling men dressed like women gorgeous. This is crazy. I
She
never
is,
thought I'd
though. I
be in
mean,
this. Yeah, like listen, people are gorgeous, and there's nothing wrong with calling people gorgeous. I'm just having a moment where I'm realizing the position I'm in my life right now. So like, just give me a
yeah.
second.
Yeah.
Jade
Yeah.
looks great. The outfit was cool. Absolutely hit what she wanted. Covered up that little hairline issue. Almost has like the same hairpiece going on that she had from the Maxi Challenge, but
Mm,
covered up better, getting rid of that MPB, that male pattern baldness hairline up there. Looks great.
yeah. Yeah. Looks stunning. The outfit from the shoes to the earrings to the wig, all of it's great. All of it giving that kind of goth dominatrix vibe. My only note, I wish she would have gone with full black lipstick because I love me a goth girl. So get that black
Mm.
lipstick. You know what I'm saying?
I wonder what full black would have done here. I wonder if it would have taken away or added to the feminine look.
Yeah, not 100% sure. I just know I probably would have preferred it.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that. If I cross my eyes a little bit, I can kind of like see it. And I think it would be, it would be a thing.
It would definitely be a vibe. But yeah, we both agree. Good luck. Jade rarely disappoints, if ever, on the runway. This is pretty solid. The performance in the Maxi Challenge, not super great. So good job on at least showing out of the runway.
Yeah, good comeback.
Yeah. Up next, BB Zahara Benet.
Whew.
This is my favorite look that she's done all season.
This is my favorite look from any queen
Anyone?
that I've ever seen.
I
Period.
can
That I
kind of
have
see that.
ever seen. I'm not out there looking at a bunch of queens. I've seen some before,
Not yet.
but when BB after yelling Cameroon, when BB
Cameroon.
turned around and I actually said, "Wow!" over here on my couch, sitting next to my wife. Wow,
Mm-hmm.
because this look was fan freaking tastic.
Chef's kiss.
I feel like I've seen this on the cover of a fashion magazine. This
Probably.
deserves a spot on the cover of a fashion magazine. In fact,
Yep.
when we were trying to make logos for this piece, didn't a silhouette that looked just like this pop up for us?
Yeah.
I feel like it did.
Yep.
Bro,
Yep.
this is so great that I could almost sit here and talk another hour just about this
Just on
walk
this
here.
look. Such a good look. Served it on the runway. You can see it a little bit in this clip. Served
Killed
it on the
it.
runway. The hat is killing it. The accessories, the bejeweled bra, this asymmetrical cutout on this catsuit. And I'm not a catsuit person. I'm not a bodysuit person. I think I've said that
No.
before.
Yeah.
Love this. Kills this. So good. So high fashion. I am obsessed with this look from BB.
Even when she takes off the hat and reveals like the boyish haircut with the
gemstone kind of
Ah.
headpiece thing. I'm not even sure what that's called.
I don't know
It's
what
just
it's
like
called.
chains
I don't
kinda
know, but
draped
like
over the head.
Jewel of the Nile style,
Something.
fucking Cleopatra,
Ooh, it looks so
sexy
good.
shit, bro. It was so fucking cool. It was so cool,
Mhm.
and that's all I can say about it. Is that this walk was the coolest thing that this show has shown me yet.
I don't disagree with that. I was gagged when she came out. Gagged, right? Gagged and gooped even. Gagged and gooped. Get your glossary out. I was both gagged and gooped at this fucking look.
Impressed. Gagging is when you are impressed.
Correct.
Got it. Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes, I was
love
also quite gagged.
it. Yeah. So good. So good. We could. I'm gonna move on because we could spend the rest of the episode talking about how much we like this.
Yeah, honestly, we have to because like we'll just keep talking.
Yeah, I love it. BB showing out, killing it, killing the episode, killing the challenge. You know, maybe not the best on the mini challenge, but ooh, rocking it. Love to see this.
I mean, I just said this is like BB's episode where she's honestly putting herself in a stratosphere, stratus.
The upper atmosphere. That thing. The
She's putting herself
high
in
up.
the apple streusel above all the little apple
Streusel
dumplings
sphere.
below her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I'm on a podcast. I can't talk either. I'm over here talking about how Chanel and Jade can't say shit. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, BB is queen of queens, in my opinion, after this.
Yeah, definitely killing this look. Definitely killing it. All right, moving on. We got to move on. We have Nina, and let's just jump into the contrast, the stark contrast between those two images. What we had with BB, and then this walkout look with Nina, who I said is the Crow. I think. What are we to? What? I don't understand the choices here. I get that Nina plays the like androgynous, kind of more masculine leaning drag king-esque aesthetic, but this is a dude. This is giving almost David Bowie more than it is giving any kind of drag queen or anything.
Oh shit,
like,
I feel that.
yeah,
so hard.
and like that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I just don't, especially coming out following a BB and Jade. Both of them looked so good. And then Nina's coming out in a Halloween costume, an elevated Halloween costume.
I will say, overall, if we were to separate this out, like this isn't specifically bad. This
Agreed.
is not as strong as the people around her, but I wouldn't say
Agreed.
that this is like just straight up bad. This, I mean, yeah, leans more David Bowie than it does Queen. I could also mistake this for like a tall Sharon Osbourne, like early 2000s Sharon Osbourne.
Yeah, if Sharon Osbourne hit the gym, you know,
yeah, absolutely,
really buffed up a little bit.
Yeah. But you know, I can't disagree that like the body is giving very male. The size of the face that she's portraying here, again, giving very male. But you know, I can't call it bad. I can't call it specifically
No.
bad. Just not as strong as everyone else.
Agree. I wouldn't call this bad. It does have a little bit of like executive transvestite feel, little Eddie Izzard, little David Bowie kind of, where like we're just playing with a makeup look. We're not necessarily leaning full drag, full into it. But yeah, I can't say it's a bad look. It just doesn't hit for me. And especially being third on this runway and having the two performers ahead of you really showing out kind of puts this in an even worse light for Nina. This is not Nina's best look.
Yeah, and I think the judges call out like the muscular arms being a little bit too manly. Man, I'm a CrossFitter, and like all of the women in CrossFit are absolutely gorgeous,
like
and
a
they're
muscular
all
woman.
Yeah, they're all jacked just like this. So like maybe it didn't hit me as hard.
Warrior princess, like
exactly. I have a dog named Xena, bro. Listen,
yeah,
muscular women, way up on the tier list for me.
We love a muscle mommy, yeah.
But again, like we've said before, this isn't about like being a muscular woman, being a flat-chested woman. This is about a man trying to portray themselves as a woman. And when you do that, accentuating your more masculine features makes that more difficult visually. So like, I get it. I understand the critique.
Yeah, agreed. So not the best showing for Nina. But again, a good look in general. The wings thing I think was a bit of a stretch. It feels almost cosplay like to me. So it just overall doesn't fully sell it, but yeah, not a horrible look. I do like the brooch. I'll say that. That's like connecting the top of the...
Yeah, brooch matching the earrings. Wings don't really bother me. I think we see some funky shit in some like way more, what am I trying to say?
Like outlandish or exaggerated.
Well, we see like this crazy outlandish shit in way more prestigious like fashion scenarios, right?
Oh, yeah, true.
Like the wings don't super bother me. But I will admit that this is a more manly look out of Nina than things that we've seen before. And she already kind of like walks that line.
Right, right. Yeah. Already toes the line. This time definitely toed it on the more masculine side. For sure. Next, your favorite and mine,
Hmm.
Angina. This is a very classic Angina look. We've got a tiny fascinator in the form of a bow with a small veil. It is giving, I'll say, this reminds me, and I'm not, educated enough to remember exactly the look, but this reminds me of what I feel like was a Madonna look in like the 90s, with this like white kind of, uh, crop cut blazer on top of a
Hmm.
black sort of poofy dress. But again, the silhouette doesn't land. The dress is too poofy, too high. So it brings it all the way up into like the armpits and again creates this very boxy, wide silhouette for such a small person. And I think we just sort of lose it again a little bit in execution.
You know what? It actually didn't bother me. I think the outfit here is what sold it mostly because I think this might be the part where the judges call out her kind of having a kitchen sink makeup look because the makeup is very clown like here. But
Yeah.
put this and I wrote down Chanel, not SH Chanel from the show, but CH Chanel.
Chanel, yeah.
I feel like this comes across,
It's
and
got
I
the
don't know
black and
anything.
white.
It's the black and white,
Yeah.
right? And I don't
Yep.
know anything
Yep.
about fashion, but like that kind of like lightning struck me when I saw this look. Like this looks like it comes out of a Chanel closet. This looks like something that belongs on the runway. And the outfit itself really helps sell the lack of the rest of it to me.
Like, yeah, overly feminine features and stuff.
Yeah.
I will say, even with my critiques, and again, just not being a huge fan of the way the silhouette of this turned out, that this is very possibly, if not probably, the best look that Angina's walked down a runway with. This to me is much better than the previous runways we've seen Angina in.
Easily, absolutely.
Yeah, and Angina always has a great walk, so
And hey,
definitely selling it.
this fascinator less offensive than the other
Less offensive.
fascinators.
It
There's not
fits.
a fucked baby doll on the top of it.
Yeah, this one fits. This one looks like it goes with the outfit. It makes sense. It's not
Yes.
random. It's not a watering can or some weird bullshit, right? The
Yes,
whole
it's
thing.
good.
Yeah, it does fit well for sure.
I think it's interesting when we zoom in here, the lips are like so pale that they almost disappear. I
Hmm.
don't know what that is, but it does like do something to kind of bring her face in a little bit
Yeah, kind of
where
sucks
it
everything
usually
in.
feels a
Yeah,
little bit wider. So, like, interesting tactic. Don't know anything about makeup. Don't know if that's what she was doing, but
yeah.
like just looking at it now, I've noticed that.
Maybe she learned a little bit from Chanel.
Probably, probably,
Yeah.
which is, honestly, good stuff. That's how you should be acting in something like this, learning things, picking them up, and changing your
Hmm.
ways along the way.
Yeah, and Angina's definitely demonstrated that. I'll say, like, I feel like sometimes I'm a little hard on Angina's look. And again, that's mostly because it just doesn't resonate with me personally from a style take. I don't think there's any, like, real objective critiques I can make about this. Personally, it doesn't resonate with me, but it is clearly well done. It is well thought out. To your point, this looks like something straight off a runway. This looks like something out of a Chanel collection. Like, this is a good outfit. This was a good look. Solid.
I'm with it.
Yeah. All right. Next, good old Rebecca Glasscock, who had a bit
Yeah,
of a rocker attitude, I guess, through this episode and decided to portray that on the runway.
she did. This look kind of polarized even the judges.
Hmm.
I wasn't sure when I saw it because there's like a little snippet preview of it before you actually get into the walk. When I saw the
Hmm.
snippet preview, I was like, I don't know. Short hair usually doesn't work super well.
Hmm.
But this, I think she actually killed it. And I think what killed it was the walk overall. If she wasn't so good at portraying this super feminine walk, this wouldn't read as well as I think it did in this scenario.
Interesting. I am not a huge fan of this look. I do appreciate that she's going for something different. This is very different for Rebecca compared
Mm-hmm.
to everything else that we've seen. So I like that we're kind of stepping out with this. Rebecca does get some critiques on the makeup, critiques I don't necessarily agree with. I kind of like the choice to be a bit, as I said before, a little bit different than what we've seen, kind of classic makeup looks, leaning into that Kiss-esque kind of black star on the face. I'll say from a technical note, a star is a very difficult shape to draw in general. Doing it on a face, I think, is extra difficult, or like getting it as a tattoo, kind of extra difficult to keep proportions of a star looking good across a dynamic surface that has different elevations. And to that point, I think we kind of see that gets to Rebecca a bit around the bridge of the nose and to the inside of the eye section of the star. When she's looking at you dead on, it distorts out and kind of adds a weird square edge to the bottom left of the star. But then when she turns and you see
It's
the
perfect.
silhouette, it's
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah. And that kind of speaks to the difficulty, I think, of delivering a look like this on such a dynamic, or I guess deep or multi-layered part of the face.
I will say that this doesn't read fashion. If that's what we're trying to do here, if we're trying to read like
Mm-hmm.
Viva MAC Glam super fashion type thing, it doesn't read
Yeah,
that way.
that's a good
But
point.
I'm not a fashionista. So what I will say is this does read like many a chick I've gone to a music festival with. And
Yeah,
if I could look at you in a crowd of people and say, you know, that's a sexy looking chick with some cool like rocker makeup on, then I think like you've won the runway for me.
yeah, fair enough. I think it's a fair and correct critique that this is missing the theme.
Yeah.
um, Missing the theme. And again, when we're coming in for fashion, like if we compare this to Jade, BB, even Nina and Angina, like the level at which they came out, this is something you got off the rack at fucking H&M. That's a little drag joke for those watching who know that. It looks like it's something you got off the rack. It is basic as fuck. It's a simple black and white striped dress. Like we do add some accessories to kind of glam it up a little bit, but again, we're kind of falling back in my mind back into that Rebecca Glasscock. Like this is just a basic bitch in these basic bitch clothes.
Yeah, very much so. Very episode one Rebecca here.
Yeah,
Even going outside of the confines of what she usually does, we're still like stuck in basic bitch era.
still basic bitch era for sure, for sure. But again, I will props for trying to do something different to bring
Mm.
something unique to the runway. Got to give you at least a little bit of credit for that. Sometimes when you swing for the fences, you don't always hit. But still, props for getting out there and trying to bring something unique and new to the runway.
Listen, man, people got different diameter fences. Right now, Rebecca's fence is about this big. Other people's fence is about this big. She's still hitting it out of her park, just not the
Yeah,
park.
just not the park, not Rue's park. That's for sure.
Definitely not.
Yeah. And then finally on the runway, we have Chanel.
Yeah.
Do we want to just
Uh,
take a second and just look at this GIF and take in what's going on with Chanel?
has it been a second yet? I got things to say.
It has. It's been a second.
Yikes. So listen, Chanel is obviously the last queen up here that looks super manly. That's not serving her very well. Because this look doesn't read to me. This look doesn't read to me. I can see the man underneath that makeup. I enjoyed the performative nature. Other people didn't like the kind of circus thing that she did. Being able to
Mm-hmm.
juggle and walk like that and
Crazy
like give
difficult.
it crazy difficult. Give it the performance, and it's not shown here, but like you kind of expect there to be a back to this outfit. She does the whole juggle, everything keeps you concentrated up here. As soon as she's
Mm-hmm.
done, she kind of hits a little pose at the end of the runway after doing her performance, turns around, reveals that it's completely backless. bare ass out
Just
and
ass out.
everything.
Yeah.
And like, listen, not the best reveal of an ass I've ever seen in my life, but it was
Fair.
cool. But it was cool.
Yeah.
I think, because it was such like a little bit of a bait and switch. Look up here. All right, now look back here. And it was, it was a thing. It was a performance, but it doesn't help that this time the competition is so strong. I think out of all of the looks on the runway, this was my least favorite.
Yeah, I feel like this look does rely a lot on the juggling and the performance aspect of it. And that, like, I would almost, I would almost equate it to like, if anybody's ever watched the show Chopped, if you watch that show, it's like a cooking show. There's like a little trope of the show where they get to the dessert segment and one of the chefs tends to decide to make an ice cream for no reason, just an extra ice cream to add to whatever the dessert request was. And this is often seen as a bad move because best case scenario, you make a really good ice cream and now your dessert is being compared to the good ice cream that you just made for no reason. Worst case scenario, you make a bad ice cream and it detracts from your thing. So it's kind of a lose-lose. And I see coming out and performing and juggling as the ice cream on top of this. Best case scenario, which is kind of the scenario we're in, you kill it, you nail the juggling, and it looks really cool and it's impressive. But it takes away from your runway look. I care more now about the juggling that you did than I do about the outfit that you came out in, right?
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, you throw the bowling pins all over the place, you hit Rue in the head, and it's a disaster on both fronts, right? So I think it was a little bit of a lose-lose choice to come out here quite so performatively on this runway. But that's not to take away from how impressed I am at how difficult it must have been to walk a runway in stiletto heels while making eye contact with the judges and juggling 3 bowling pins and not missing a single step. We kind of skipped over it. Nina stumbles a little bit on the runway.
Oh,
right?
Yeah,
we've seen Akasha fall. Nina does a little bit of a stumble on the turn, recovers well, kind of continues to walk. So to contrast that, like walking a runway and selling it on its own is difficult. To do that and juggle at a clearly professional level is impressive, but I don't know that it necessarily adds to the overall runway look and vibe, to your point, which doesn't super hit. It's like there are 2 wow factors here. It's the juggling and it's your full ass out when you turn away. But neither of those 2 things are the look as a whole and what we're going for here.
And they both kind of like fall flat for most people. I was astounded by the performative nature, but once it was over, it was over. And it's like, okay, why did we do that? Then she turned around and showed her ass and like, sorry, Chanel, but the ass wasn't that great. and like she really started to play on that. I was like, what did I just watch here at the end? Like that was quite a show, but it's very obviously just a show.
Yeah, very much. So yeah, don't think it helped all that much. This is the final runway. So from this, we do get into the judges' critiques. I'm going to leave Janelle up here juggling for us a little bit while we chat about what the judges had to say and whether or not we necessarily agree. I have like a small notes for each person here. Starting off with Jade. They don't love Jade's overall performance in either the commercial. I think we do see when the judges get into critiques, we do actually see the 30-second edit of the 10-minute shoot that we watched earlier. So we do see Jade's edited commercial, which again is just a commercial. It's edited relatively well, kind of cuts out some of the mistakes that she made, but it's just a commercial. That's all I really have to say about it. And I think
very every commercial
opinion. Yeah,
very much so. And then they like talk about Jade's tuck, which I didn't read at all, and it was really interesting. I think Rue was like, something tells me
you just can't do a tight tuck.
You can't. Yeah, there's not a tuck tight enough to hide what you have down there. Am I correct? And Jade was like, yes. Maybe. It's all right. So you got a big dick. congratulations. I wasn't really focused on the tuck. Santino, who in my opinion is a fucking asshole, even said that he
Yeah.
didn't like really read the tuck, but for some reason like they didn't feel they're like your walk wasn't risky enough. You were dressed as a dominatrix and you weren't dominating enough and risky enough.
Dominating.
Like, golly, you can't
They
freaking
did say
please these
that.
assholes for anything, man. Like I thought it was completely fine.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think they were a little bit hard on how she was selling the look. I think the look was great. Yeah,
But to be fair, I think that's just indicative of how tight the competition is. Because at the end of all of
also
this,
true.
I honestly said there wasn't a bad show up there. Like
Yeah,
all of it relatively was good. Now, when you like put them next to each other, you can start to pick things out about them.
it
But
is
overall,
nitpicky.
like
Yep.
this was a really, really good showing for everybody.
Yeah, and I think that's very true for the judges. They have to be nitpicky here, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
disagree really with anything they said, except for most of the stuff Santino says at any time.
Yes.
Um, But yeah, I didn't wholly disagree with their critiques in the take on here. I think we all, like both you and I and all the judges, probably had a very similar uh, position and opinion on
Mm-hmm.
Jade's just overall performance in this episode. Not great, not horrible. Nobody was horrible, like you said, but definitely not great. Definitely not in the top. I think Rebecca goes next. I have some notes on Rebecca. She gets some pretty bad critiques. Rue points out walking out early, kind of leaving
Mm-hmm.
time on the table, not being able to control your emotions. The commercial overall was rough. Santino says she looks like a raccoon with the like star face paint, to which I wrote, "Shut up, Santino."
Yeah, that's
Like,
where I wrote that Santino is a dick just looking for something to say. Like he's
you're
the
right.
judge that literally has nothing else to say and
It's
like
not-
tries
it's
to
never
come up with the most
constructive with him.
controversial yes, he's just trying to
It's
come
never
up with some
constructive. He's just
controversial
mean.
bullshit. He's clipping. He's clip farming, right? Which is
yeah,
like
yeah.
2008, 2009, really early period to be clip farming. So like, at the end of the day,
ahead of his time, maybe.
yeah, absolutely. Congratulations, Santino. You're ahead of your time clip farming, but you're not aura farming for shit because you look like a dick.
Yeah, definitely feels just rude, kind of,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not really constructive. Like, what do I do with you look like a raccoon? Okay,
Bro,
thanks.
raccoon.
I'll do
I
less
literally
raccoony
wrote.
stuff next time.
I wrote raccoon, bro. Like, what are you talking
Where?
about here? Like,
Yeah.
you've never seen Kiss in your life.
Yeah,
You've
Rue
never
references
seen
Kiss
David
like 3
Bowie
times.
in
Yeah.
your life. Yeah, seriously. Like, this is
Yeah.
not something new. We've seen this type of makeup before. Raccoon, bro.
Raccoon.
Get out of
Just-
here.
What is the take? It's not a great take. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Rebecca overall gets some kind of bad critiques on the commercial, on the shoot, kind of the choice of everything. And Rue also points out, it's not about not being emotional or having emotions. It's about controlling those emotions and not letting those emotions control you. And that was definitely a downside for Rebecca's performance today.
Performance critique right there, man. Performance critique all the way.
Yep. Up next, I have some notes for Angina. Actually, very little. I just wrote Angina gets good critiques, and I agree with this. Like, I agree with what the judges say.
Yeah, no one called her out for not having tits, so like that was weird to me.
No.
But
Yeah, didn't matter as much to the judges. I don't think. Brought good energy to the commercial, even though it was like a serious topic. So yeah, I agree. Nothing.
yeah, they loved her commercial. Big
Yep.
deal there.
Yeah, that was good. Chanel, I wrote, Chanel comes out. I wrote, Chanel, again, Santino says something dumb. They critique her on running out of time and not bringing a great look. I don't remember exactly what Santino says. I'm sure it was something stupid.
Obviously, it was Santino.
Yeah, exactly. But they definitely nail on the head for the performance in the overall maxi challenge, running out of time, way too wordy, did not do a good job. And then the look, while the juggling was interesting, the look was a bit lackluster compared to everybody else.
Yep.
Nina gets red for looking like a man. right?
Yes, specifically about the chest. So like we're gonna call out Nina
Yep.
for not having tits, but like Angina just gets a pass
Angina's
now.
fine, I
Like
guess.
we're going to
Yeah.
tell Angina to feminize it 3 episodes in a row, but on the 4th episode we're just gonna give up and switch to Nina. Now we're throwing titty hate at Nina. Come on
I
now.
guess so. Yeah. I wonder, Angina is a smaller, more petite person in general, so maybe that gets her a little bit of a pass. Where Nina's kind of a bulky dude. Like Nina's a little bit jacked, a little bit ripped.
Yeah.
So coming out
So
there
we're going
showing
with
that
like
much
the
chest, showing big shoulders and stuff, I do think it's a little bit of that sort of masculine bias because of muscly. Like it's rude to muscle mommies. You know what I'm saying? There are plenty of muscly women who are absolutely stunning.
I'm
And I
saying, man.
don't, yeah, I don't agree with the judge's take on this one. I kind of agree with you. I think both of them play with that like androgynous,
Mm-hmm.
maybe slightly masculine leaning drag. And it does feel a little bit unfair to read Nina so hard for that. Even though I will agree that this look, and we both said it, this look does lean masculine.
Definitely leans more masculine.
Mm-hmm.
I get where the judges were coming from. And again, I think this is just indicative of how tight the competition is because really all of these queens killed it.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. The commercial for Nina received well, kind of like Jade's, I
Yeah.
think. Nothing really to write home about, but it was well. It was done well. It looked good.
Yeah, the kiss on the mirror or the like plexiglass I think was a
Yeah.
good move for that commercial, kind of like button it up for Nina.
Yeah, especially since we're out here promoting a lip product, right? That's a good
Exactly.
move. That
Yeah.
was a good choice. Yeah, finally we get some critiques about BB. BB gets positive critiques up
Yeah,
and down, and
critiques.
like pick a bad thing to say. Figure it out because I couldn't. I couldn't find a single thing.
Yeah.
Like performance all around, super super strong.
Yeah, I mean, we say critiques. What we mean is worship. We got to the end
Compliments.
of this,
Yeah.
and BB was just straight worshipped for absolutely how great of a queen she is.
Mm-hmm.
It is tough. They say like, "Hey, you have immunity. You didn't need it. You didn't need it. You may as well just throw that immunity in the trash because you don't need it."
Mm-hmm.
It's like, is there? I don't know. Like, we haven't gotten there yet, but is there a rule about who gets to win an episode? When can you win episodes more than once in a
You
row?
can win more than once in a row. We can let's just move on because we do announce a winner, and we
Mm-hmm.
learn that Angina actually wins this episode.
Yep.
I don't necessarily disagree with this. I think both Angina and BB did really good jobs. I have to put my personal bias aside that I just personally like BB, I think, a little bit more than Angina and what Angina does. From like a aesthetic thing, I think I just understand BB and BB's
Yeah.
approach a little bit more than Angina's overall like artistic voice and taste. But I loved the commercial. I thought the commercial was great. It was very product forward. I give her a lot of props for that. And this was her best runway show out. So like we all knew, I think after watching this episode, it was going to come down to those two,
Oh
Angina
yeah.
or BB. And I'm not like, I don't necessarily know that this is who I would have picked, but I'm not upset by Angina winning this.
I'm not upset by Angina winning, but
Yeah.
in my heart, BB won. In my heart, BB went back to back.
Agreed. And I agree with that. If you and I were judging this is a second win for BB. This is a second win in a row for BB. I think this might have been her third for the whole season, but she definitely would have won this episode if I were picking. But I do want to spend a little bit of time on this winner announcement because after Angina is told that she wins, we find out Angina kind of breaks down and starts crying. And it's a little bit out of nowhere. Everyone's like, okay, like I get it. You won. It's emotional. But what do you like, honey? Why are you breaking down right now?
Yeah, you haven't won the show. Like, chill.
Yeah,
We
like
still got things to
calm
do.
down. Yeah. And then Angina stands up and reveals to everyone that Angina currently has, and for the last 2 years has had HIV.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a big moment. I wrote in bold and highlighted classy as fuck to wait until the end of the critiques, the end of everything, get announced the winner, then open up with that. So, like, no one can say you used it as a pity card. No one can say you won
Nope.
because of a pity play. Nothing. You held that shit in. You did it like a fucking champ. When I was on the fence about Ongina winning over BB before, and I probably would have picked BB, after finding this out and finding out that she went through everything she went through, held everything together so well, in stark contrast to the very immature way Rebecca was handling everything, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This pushes it over for me. Like, it does get a little bit of a pity win, I guess you could say, from my book, because I was going to give it to BB, but now that I know this, I understand and would give it to Ongina. It does make a little bit of a difference. I'll recognize that. I'll own that. That's a me thing. But to perform the way you did, to keep the kind of attitude, to hold it all together all the way to the end, definitely gets bonus points in my book.
Yeah, I mean, this made me a little misty-eyed when this whole thing went down. Overall, you're right. My first reaction is always like, you just couldn't wait to tell your story, right? Because I
Yeah.
feel that way so many times throughout most of these reality shows. But what you just said, the fact that she waited didn't reveal it in the maxi challenge, didn't reveal it before the walk, waited, didn't reveal it during the judges' criticisms, waited until she had won the episode, and then revealed how much it meant to her and why. Honestly, absolutely, like, gorgeous way to go about that.
Yeah.
That's tough. I don't think it adds credence to her performance for me. Because she was pushing through some things and was able to control that. But for me, like you said, performance is flat overall. Not that Ongina's performance was flat. I have to read performances in a flat way, meaning that anything going on in the background lays no credence to how I judge that performance, and I still give it to BB here. But that doesn't mean that Ongina didn't deserve it, because it was very close. It was very close the whole time. That reveal, absolutely touching. And one hell of an episode. This one, the way to, we haven't gotten, it's not over yet. Wait, don't click away. It's not over. But to end like this section that way was touching.
Yeah. Overall, I slack-jawed when I heard that, honestly, because I tend to have the same take, like, especially if producers find out about it, like, shows chomp at the bit to tell a sad story about somebody. Always. And like it gets hard, like, watching competition shows. As I mentioned earlier in this episode, I'm a big fan in general of competition shows, and it does get hard to feel like a genuine empathy for someone when they're in a situation that it feels like they're playing for that empathy and try to want that to give them an edge. So for Ongina to hold that until the end and reveal it was extremely classy. It was genuine. It was made more genuine by the way it was delivered and the timing and everything. And just, I was speechless for a good second. And then the first thing I thought was like, I can't wait to film this episode, because I want to know. Like, I gotta know. This is such a moment. This is like our first, I feel like, iconic moment that we're really having in season one. Like, this is going to stick with me, this episode, and Ongina kind of revealing that in this way.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Because, look at how the way that it affected the other queens. I say, look, right? You can't see it. But even the other queens were kind of like, take Ru. Oh, man. The way Ru handled it. I'm about to cry right now, bro. The way Ru handled it and was visibly shook by it. Golly, just added credence to the realism of the moment, because you can tell when those moments are scripted and when they're not. And this was the most real moment we've seen so far in Drag Race, at least in season. I know you've seen other seasons. I haven't seen other seasons. So this is overall in Drag Race, but at least in season one, right?
Yeah, this is so real. And this is part of what I love about this series as a whole is that you get moments like this where you just get glimpses into these people's lives and like who they are. And it just, man, it touches you. Like it
Yeah.
can't not, you know what I mean? It's just such a big moment and crazy. That's such a horrible thing to have to go through, a horrible thing to have to deal with. I'm also getting a little bit choked up thinking about it. Like it's just rough, and handling the whole episode and the competition, everything the way Angina's done in the face of that is super impressive.
Yep. The blazer she wore in the very beginning reads well. Professional
Yeah,
all the way through, man. Straight
all
pro.
the way through. Yeah, very deserving of a top spot for sure. But all right, that's the good stuff. That's the good news, right? We
Mm-hmm.
had a winner. Up next, we have who end up being our two bottom queens, which are, let me make sure my slides are in the right order, which are, yeah, our bottom two, Jade and Rebecca. Do you agree with this?
No, I don't. I would have put Chanel down there with Rebecca. I don't think Jade deserves to be down here.
Interesting. Okay, yeah.
I don't think Chanel beat Jade in the maxi challenge. I don't think Chanel beat Jade on the runway either.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Overall, I get Rebecca being down here. Jade being down here makes no sense to me whatsoever. I would have put Chanel down here 1,000 times before I put Jade down here. But now we got a big old fish fight, right? This is the battle
True.
of the fish fight all day.
Yeah, I agree. I was also a little bit shooketh that Chanel got a pass and Jade didn't. Also, because Chanel demonstrated similar issues to last episode, which to
Mm-hmm.
me is an issue with taking critique, with making adjustments. Again, that flexibility we talk about as a performer. This is the first time in this season that I was both shocked and disagreed with the way the judges decided who was going to be in the bottom. And I was surprised.
Even
Surprised to
even
see Jade
Rue,
down there.
even Rue earlier on was saying like every time I see Chanel, she's doing this, and I really want to see her do this,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
it's like, how are you going to continually give that critique and then give her a pass here when honestly there was nothing wrong with what Jade did?
Right.
Period. I didn't. I saw very few flaws out of Jade, other than the fact that her commercial was maybe too universal, which like
Yeah.
you could call that bad. Honestly, if you can put out basic good commercial that's ready to go, that's a good thing.
I'm
You
not
know?
mad at you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not mad at you at all. And like to compare them, also bringing resume into it, like the previous episode and everything, like I just don't think Jade deserved to be down here with
Nope.
Rebecca. So yeah, we end up with Jade and Rebecca having to lip sync for their life.
And then
We
listen, they start like lip
yeah,
syncing, they start dancing. Rebecca's like really leaning into that like rocker chick thing, and
mhm.
Jade goes the fuck off. Jade,
Yeah,
I wrote in all caps, Jade, what the fuck did I just watch? She fucking killed it in dance. She was hitting all the lyrics, doing acrobatic shit, doing the splits. There is a point where Jade starts putting hands on Rebecca and just showing
yeah,
up Rebecca's dance all the way. Look how static this bitch is. She's so static, I can dance around her. I could put my
yeah.
hands on her. It won't even interrupt what she's doing. Look at me. Goes in between her legs. It looked like a whole ass show because Jade was up there.
It was a show. I agree. The first thing I wrote is Jade outperforms Rebecca here. Like
Hard.
I think it
Hard.
is apparent. I'll say this is the best lip sync we've had all season. This is the
Hands
first
down.
like good lip sync we've seen. Both of these queens do a good job. Jade does a significantly better job than Rebecca.
Hands
Like,
down. Yep.
I think it's inarguable. And to your point, there is a part where they end up dancing together, which is kind of the first time we see this. It doesn't happen super often. It does happen. Some queens see it as like disrespectful. Other queens see it as like, I don't know, sometimes it's fun. It kind of depends on the situation. Jade sort of initiates it here with Rebecca and kind of dances, to your point, very much like, I can dance circles around this bitch. Like, I'm even going to interact with her a little bit. Rebecca then kind of leans into it and gets a little handsy. I wrote, take some liberties with Jade. At
Oh
one
yeah.
point, like, grabs her wig and kind of simulates a blowjob and like things like that, where
Mm-hmm.
we cut to the other queens behind during this lip sync, and they seem a little off put even by the liberties Rebecca has decided to take now that Jade has introduced that they can dance together. Right.
A little uncomfortable. A little uncomfortable.
Yeah, and it is a little bit too far in general, I think, even in the context, even in the fact that these are two gay men. Like, that's a bit rough to just assume you can do to somebody without clearing it ahead of time. You know what I mean?
Oh shit! At that point, I figured all bets were off. I mean, she's putting her hands on my fake tits. I'm putting my hands on her wig. Like, we're dancing this sexy scene. Everything
Yeah.
in this show already has been hypersexualized. I really didn't take issue with it. I just thought Jade killed it at the end of the
Did a better
day.
job.
And
I
Rebecca was
agree.
trying to
Yeah.
follow along to catch up, is what was happening.
Definitely after the first maybe 10 seconds, it's Rebecca trying to keep up with Jade. I
Yes.
think it feels apparent to me. And the queens don't seem to have an issue. They don't voice an issue with the way either of them interacted with each other. So I'm not trying to be offended on someone else's behalf or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to note it did look like it was maybe a little bit too familiar. Maybe it was towing that line a little more than I would have expected. But I wholeheartedly agree. I don't think there's a way anyone can watch this lip sync against each other and think Rebecca did a better job here. Right.
No. Nope.
Yeah. So that takes us into who gets eliminated. And as you may expect, it is Jade.
What the fuck?
What?
What?
Like, I'm shook. I am
What
shooketh.
happened? What did the judges watch? What were they watching up there?
They wholly disagree with this. Wholeheartedly disagree with this. Crazy to me that Jade did better in the episode, did better in the challenge, did better on the runway, did better in the lip sync. Jade goes home. I don't understand.
Jade had to have a target on her back. Listen, I wrote down, Jade, what the fuck did I just watch? Wait, what? What were the judges watching? What the fuck just happened? Is exactly how I wrote this. But then I also wrote under who went home, right? Jade, and not gracefully either. Jade goes on this tangent, cursing everybody and their mom out, calling everybody out for being fake, being shitty, calling Rebecca out specifically for being
Rebecca out specifically
for
being fake. Says Rebecca is the fakest person I have ever met.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And part of me wonders how much of this decision to put Jade in the bottom and send Jade home actually has to do with the performance that she put forth for these challenges.
Yeah.
This might be a resume thing at the end, or not even resume. This might be like a backstage thing that we don't get to see because it's been edited out.
That's true. It could be there. I think it's almost endless the type of conspiracy theories we could probably come up with on how on earth Jade was decided to be let go on this episode after this performance. I had to spend time. I had to sit down with myself and think about what on earth Ru could have possibly been thinking. And I do think there's definitely room for off-screen stuff to have happened. That does happen. Sure. In future seasons as well. I'm not going to get into it here. We may get into it when it becomes relevant. There are times that queens get eliminated due to things that occur off camera, not challenge related. Mm-hmm. Very possible that's what's going on here. I don't know anything about that, right? So we would just have to speculate. The reasoning I came up with when I was kind of sitting alone in my thoughts on this is that the only thing I can really think of is, despite the fact that Jade outperformed Rebecca here, one of the consistent critiques, we even hear fucking Santino say it in this episode, is that Jade is like one note and has been kind of delivering the same thing from episode 1 to now. Despite critiques, despite anything else, despite judges telling her and other people, we want to see more from you. We want to see different things. Jade has been kind of one note and doesn't super demonstrate either the ability or the desire to make a lot of changes to that moving forward. Where on the other hand, Rebecca, who is very much up and down, very inconsistent, does at least appear to be trying to do new things and kind of step out of the boundaries. And this is me reaching to rationalize what I saw, right?
Yeah.
But that's the only thing that makes sense to me is maybe the judges were like, I can probably predict what Jade's going to do next week. And Rebecca, even though it may be shit, it will probably be different than what it was this week.
Man, I don't know. I hope that that's it. I guess I don't really care whether, shit, this was almost 20 years ago now. But
yeah.
Also, BB, who we love and adore, also very thematic and one note. Does it very, very well. Kind of one note. But everything is Africa, Tina Turner,
Cameroon.
Animal Print, Cameroon bound. And that's okay. Yeah. It's okay if you're good at that thing and you can make it span across multiple challenges, multiple
It's
themes.
Great to have a voice. Yeah.
It's great to have a voice. And I think Jade has a voice, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Bro, I also sat down and thought a lot, and I couldn't come up with anything other than there's something going on that we just don't get to see in the 45-minute clips that we get.
I think that's a better explanation than mine, to be honest, because I just don't. I was grasping for reasoning. There are times that I don't agree with the judgment. This is definitely one of them. I was shocked. I would have lost all the money I had to bet because I would have put everything on Jade making it through this episode and Rebecca going home.
Yep. All chips in, no hedging.
Don't see it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Don't see it at all. So I was shooketh. And we have to say goodbye to Jade. And to your point, she was also not happy about it. Jade went on a rant about how bullshit Jade thought this was, and I don't disagree. I kind of see why you were so upset. It's shit that you went out, especially given the lip sync and everything.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Just did a better job. Than Rebecca, hands down.
I don't like a non-graceful kind of sore loser.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really big on her calling out Rebecca on being fake. I think we'll find out that Rebecca's fake on our own. But I will say that, as a competitor, there's nothing wrong with being confident in your performance and what you put out there, and hands down thinking that your product was better than the product of your competition.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you are right. And Jade
Especially
is right.
when you're fucking right, because absolutely Jade was right.
The runway look better, the commercial better, all of it better, and even resume. Go back at the other episodes. Jade continuously outperforms Rebecca, so wild to me. I'll
mini
agree
challenge
with you. Yeah,
better.
Wins the mini challenge. Yeah,
shit, you're right.
Yeah, agree. This is such a crazy episode for Jade to go home on. The only thing you can critique Jade on is things that other queens also did, right? Jade was not the only one that struggled a little bit and had to retake some shots and some things. Jade did a astoundingly better job than Chanel with the Maxi Challenge.
Oh yeah, the chat. Listen, we've called Jade out for having a universal commercial. Again, not bad. Chanel, you see her commercial and it's filled. The 30 seconds that they could get is filled with lots of little Chanelisms and quirks and things that would not be usable in an actual TV commercial. So just astounded.
Just a moment, and I shooketh when they said Jade. Don't know what was going on there. Do not disagree with that. Or do not agree with it.
Yeah.
Wholly disagree with it. Wholly disagree with it. Yeah. Rough. So Goodbye, Jade. Sad and sorry to see you go. Honestly, fully expected Rebecca to be walking out. Fully expected this to be the end of the run. Rebecca, I feel, has demonstrated a level of immaturity that will be difficult to overcome through this challenge. And I don't think we're going to see it. I think, you know what? Let's just do it. It's a good segue. Let's jump in. Our top three, I think Rebecca's next to go. Let's talk about next episode and kind of where we stand. I think Rebecca's next to go. She's up on the chopping block next week.
I agree. Between you actually have Chanel in your top three here. Honestly, I think Rebecca and Chanel are closer to going home than Nina ever will be. Chanel showing an astounding lack of growth from episode to episode and some really, really glaring issues. Rebecca, the almost the same thing, right? Just astounding ability to continue without showing any marked improvement or growth.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Chanel makes it up here for me because I think there are things Chanel does really well, and the last couple episodes have not highlighted those. They've kind of highlighted the things she does not do super well. But it's hard to disagree with you that Chanel is closer to going home than Nina. I think, objectively speaking, very true. If I were putting money on it and not just sharing my personal opinion, Rebecca's going home next week. Chanel's probably following her after that, and we're going to be left on Gina, BB, Nina, top three.
Agreed.
I think that's how it's going to play out. And even though my personal top three is not reflective of that, here I have Angina first, BB second. Interchangeable, right? Interchangeable. If not, honestly, I've had BB ahead a lot this season. I kind of flopped it a little bit because I give Angina a lot of credit for what went on in this episode. I still think overall, BB is set up to come away as the victor of this season.
Without a doubt. Like I said, this episode specifically, not only has it been greatness after greatness after greatness, just consistent greatness. It's great. She's great. Honestly, like this episode especially put her in another stratosphere than everyone else, from the absolutely professionally delivered, on the spot, ready for TV commercial to a fucking runway walk that, like, I almost paused it because I needed a second. Just wow.
So good.
Like, so good that I feel like I've seen it before. That's how damn good it was. And these are men dressed as women, bro. It was BB. If BB doesn't win, I don't know what the if was, but like, BB's got to win, bro. BB's got to win. There's no way it's not BB. Maybe Angina, like, maybe there's a chance for her to come in.
There's a couple
and,
more
like,
episodes. Yeah, we
snake
don't know
it away.
Maybe
it would be tough.
Yeah,
BB is so
BB's
composed, delivers every single time. Nothing that you can do to throw her off her game. Like, Angina has to come take it from BB in order to win.
Yeah, it's BB's competition to lose at this point.
Yes.
Very much. Yeah. We are getting down to it for sure. Like, it is
almost there.
Especially with Jade leaving now. It's a little bit unfortunate because I feel like that leaves us a low-hanging fruit with Rebecca. I am all but positive Rebecca's going to go. I don't know. I do know who wins the overall season. I do not know what order any of these queens go in. I do not know who's going to go home next week. I genuinely think it should be Rebecca. I think Rebecca's time is up.
Probably. Rebecca, not as professional or as ready to, like, take on professional work as someone like Chanel. I think for my personal tastes, I would prefer for Chanel to go home. There's a lot of difficulty with Chanel's looks as far as being on the fishier side, right? Chanel does often still look like a man dressing up like a woman. And for me, that's just not, like, my mojo, what I'm going to rate really, really well. But I do see that Chanel is far more professional than Rebecca. And for that, Rebecca probably should go home next.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So I'm thinking about this like an interview process, like who would I hire? Rebecca, I would not, out of this group, I would not call Rebecca back for another interview at this point,
No,
right? Like
nope.
she's done.
Yeah, she
She's had
blew this level of the interview.
yeah, she has too many. She's had too many opportunities. She had too many opportunities in this episode. Didn't capitalize on them. If anything, kind of shat the bed on a couple of them.
Oh,
So
definitely.
yeah, so not looking good for her, but excited for the next episode. We're getting close to the end here, so excited for that reveal. And this was a good one. This was a good one.
Yeah, this was the first one, I think, where I reached out to you. I was like, I can't wait. I
Yeah,
can't
you
wait
did.
to talk about this one.
You did after we watched it.
Other ones, it's like, yeah, this can wait. This is just another bunch of gay dudes dressing up as women.
Yeah.
This one had some stuff in it. I was really excited to talk about that stuff.
Yeah, it was good. So we'll see what next week brings. Excited to bring it to you, our viewers. You know, if you are still with us, we appreciate it a lot. We're having a good time. This was a fun episode to watch. It was a fun episode to film for. Yeah, I'm really excited for next week.
Okay, bye now.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
Is that how we end our show now? It's like, okay, bye
Sure.
now.
We'll take a bye.
Yeah, that works for me.
One of those. Yeah. All right. Bye.